Hello, Ignacy Portal Games, and I hope to start a stream. So I hope somebody is watching this. So we'll see if it works. I have my reputation of destroying everything that is connected to technology, so we'll see if it will work tonight. Hello, Don. So first of all, I see that somebody is watching. This is a good news. I see somebody saying that it looks like a fine. So apparently you guys are hearing me. This is a good news. Apparently you guys see me. This is a good news. So if my Wi-Fi at home will not crash today, we will have. Hello, Ben. We will have a chat working. My plan for today is to stay with you for an hour or shorter if there is no more questions. But my maximum time today is 1 hour, and I will answer all the questions dedicated to First Martians, of course. And if there are any other questions about the portal games, alien artifacts, cookies, whatever, of course I'm going to answer them as well. But main priority and main task for today is, of course, hello Miha. Main task is, of course, First Martian. So if you have rule questions, if you have any other questions, just shoot me and I will answer them. I'm just posting on Twitter to invitation. Hello. Good evening, good afternoon, I would say. Mike, since can you have an adventure when trying a task with one worker in the hub? So if you are doing a action, working, explore, gather, or research, 4 actions, and if you are doing only with 1 action pawn, you have to roll the dice. That means that you may have adventure. If you are doing actions in a med lab, crew quarters, or command center, these actions don't have any adventures, so you will not have an adventure at all. So yes, Mike, 1 action pawn in a working block, and yes, you will have an adventure, which is good because this is an adventure game. Although this is a big Euro game, but adventures are good. They are fun. They have a lot of consequences in the future rounds. There may be some adventures, just information to you so you are not confused. There may be some adventures. You roll the dice, you click adventure, and the adventure says no effect. So hint from the designer, that means that there will be effect, and it will be painful effect later on. So there are some adventures that have an effect right now, and they may have a consequence. But if you have adventure and the text says no effect, that means that it will be a painful thing in the next round. So be careful. If there is no effect, that means trouble. Ivan asked us to change a little bit wording on the cards. So instead of saying on the card minus oxygen production, to also say a few more things like decrease marker on the solar panels or oxygenators. This is a good idea. You guys are the first people who play the game. You are the first people who see the game outside our playtesters. So all the feedback you are providing to us is like super valuable, and because we have an app, we can update this. So this is an interesting idea actually, to actually say it very clearly. Production -2, that means do this, and this. And I think we can do this. Basically for us, for my playtesters, for me, the game is super simple, super easy. And now all your questions are super valuable. We are building FAG. I'm sitting on BGG all day, night and long answering your questions, but it is not only to answer your questions, it is to understand which parts of the game are confusing, which parts of the game are not well explained, and we have to act and we have to update the flag, we have to make the cards more clear. So yes, if you have any ideas, if you played the game and you see this thing is not very clear, send me email. Each of you had my personal email because it was given in the letter, so you can directly contact me to my personal email and tell me, Ignacy, please change this and this and this, and yes, we will update the game. This is what I wrote in the article this Wednesday. This is a living board game. We have access to every copy you have. You have copy at home and you're playing with your smartphone. I have access to your smartphone through the app, and we can adjust the game so you have more comfortable experience. Yes. So yes, we can do this, and yeah, this is a good idea. Does the app do anything different with the event when you check off objectives? No, checking off objectives only matters when you play a campaign, and therefore, depending on that, there might be some things. In the basic game, if you are checking objectives in a third round or fourth round or the last round, the app will not recognize that, and it's just important that you check them at some point. But there is nothing going on behind the scenes if you check objective or no. Well, this is a good idea. Mike. Yes, Mike, this is a very... So, yes, Mike asked... if the event in the app says 2 rounds left, is it possible that the event may trigger sooner? Yes, it is possible, and maybe this is something that you don't know, because I know it because I designed, but maybe we didn't communicate it well enough. So every single event, when it comes, it says 3 rounds. You have 3 rounds to deal with this problem. But actually, after each round, the app in the background rolls the die, and there is some percentage that the consequences, these future consequences, will happen immediately after this round, or after another round, or after the other round. So actually, this 3 round limit says the app will try to kick your ass 3 times, and you have chance to deal with these future consequences right now, or maybe you will have a chance to deal with them the next round, or maybe you will have a chance to do it once again. But once, to make it super clear, you have 3 rounds. It doesn't mean that you for sure have these 3 rounds. You might have 3 rounds, but most likely the app in the background will roll the dice and will kick you much faster. So this is it probably should be worded up to 3 rounds. That you might have 3 rounds, but it's never that sure. The reason why the icons for general supply and for parts of the oxygen is so similar, we have to kick my artwork department, Rafał. Once again, for us it is super obvious that general supply is in a circle and the part is in a square. So this is square versus circle, quite different. But of course, you have to get used to the system, and we see now in the forums, in the emails, that it may be confusing for you, even though for us it was super clear. General supply has a round spaces, has a round tokens, and general parts is a square ones. It has a square tokens. But I understand that if these icons are so small, it may be confusing. Oliver Koenig asked about our PayPal. We still have our funds frozen. We finished the shipping of the games this Friday to all of you, and this week, this Monday or Tuesday, we will provide all information to the PayPal with the proof that the game was delivered. We have tracking numbers of all packages, so we'll send them a lot of paperwork and tell them, as we promised, we delivered the product and give us our money. So at this moment, we don't have this money yet, but I expect that this problem will be solved in a couple of days, because we did produce the game, we did deliver the game, and now is a PayPal way to act and unfrozen the money. Ben asked me about the win rate for the landing. It's very low, as I very openly said in the videos we were publishing over the months on our website. My playtesters basically says this scenario is almost impossible. We had a couple of wins, but I am saying like we had a couple of wins compared to tens of tests. So this scenario is super difficult. We know that it's possible to finish because I had a couple of games finished, but it is insanely difficult. And I see this scenario as a challenge, like this mythic, this ultimate, this legendary scenario. And this was our conscious decision. As with the first scenario, make yourselves a home, we make it super easy. You guys know that you played the game for the first time and many of you actually finished the game. So we make it on purpose super easy. And the last one, the landing, is on purpose insanely difficult. And we want it to be in the box for many months for you as a challenge. And you have to be super lucky. You have a very good plan. And one day maybe you will finish it, but it is very difficult. But of course it is crucial. I saw on the Facebook one person made a whole math and proved that it is impossible because he doesn't have enough action points. You have to remember as soon as possible unload the Scorpio and Froggy so you can go faster. Remember about the AOMs if you have less players. Like you have to be super focused and know all the rules, how you can cheat the system. Of course, morale has to be as high as possible, as fast as possible. So you have the morale tokens, so you can spend them on the powers. Like you have to do all the shit right to have a chance to win this scenario. So yes, it is beatable, but it is really very hard. And I confirm by my playtesters, even they have a problem finishing this scenario, but it is possible. Heretic Cave asked me where to put the codes. So each of you had this board with the codes, and these codes you have to solve the solution, and you have a 4-digit number. And this 4-digit number, if you go to the right upper part of the app, there is a bulb icon. You can click the bulb icon. There is a FAQ in some of the scenarios, not all of them yet. And there is also a space to put the 4-digit number. Each of these numbers can be used only once in the game. Then the app makes this behind the scenes once again makes this number not valid anymore. And when you put these numbers into the app will give you a pop-up with information. You just found something, and you have like additional spare parts, additional med pack, additional cigarettes to have morale better, like all that kind of crazy stuff. So if you are playing the scenario and you are very close to finish it, and you had some stupid unlucky event, and you really want to finish the scenario, just go to the bulb icon, put the 4-digit number, and maybe you will be lucky and you will get the things that you are missing. So each of you has these 10 cheat codes. Use them wisely. We think this is a fun way to award you and thank you for the pre-order in the game. Ivan has another request for the app. The icons for the number of pounds needed. This is exactly what we talked about with Marek, my main playtester for the game these days. On Friday we were playtesting a new scenario for you guys, and we played on my phone, and these icons were really small, and we decided we will talk to the coders that 1 meeple or 2 meeple would be much better for you guys than this super small meeple icon. So yes, this is the feedback we are giving to the coders this Tuesday. By the way, I know there is an official thread on BGG with app suggestions. Please use this thread. I'm reading this thread very carefully, and each week on Tuesday we have a Portal Games Digital meeting about the First Martians app. So I'm really reading your feedback. I'm really passing it to the coders. We really have discussions, and we are really improving the app on a weekly basis. So all your feedback that we can fix something, that we can make something better, so we can make this app more interesting for you. I'm reading this and I'm passing it to the coders. The app will be better and better every single month. Ivan asked me also, what are the profile cards used for? So at this moment, this one function in the app is not yet fully functional, so we didn't make it official. We'll make a press announce about this, and we'll make it in one of the updates about the app. You will be able to put the number from the profile card. Let me just grab this card. I don't know if I have them. So each of the profile cards has a number here in the corner. You will be able to put this number into the game when you're typing your name at the beginning of the game, your name of your character, and you will be able to put this number into the app. And therefore the app will randomly choose some events dedicated to your personal character. So all the things written here about your character, we have dedicated events about the personal life of this character, and these events will be also happening in the scenario. So besides the events from the mission, there will be also events dedicated to your personal character. So like your wife just moved to Arizona, your kid just graduated, your grandmother has a birthday. All these small touches, personal bits as we call them. As I mentioned, this is not finished yet. We are working on that. But when the game will be officially released, because you have to remember you have the pre-release version, the official release date is September. When the game will be in the stores, late September, early September, late August, this function will be working. So you will have even more dedicated connection to the character. There will be some personal bits, events about your family that is on Earth. Benjamin asked about the history feature, so you can see in the log what happened before, because you may not remember. And yes, we have it also put in the BGG thread. People were asking about the log, and yes, we will be talking about the coders with that. I do understand when you play a physical game and something happened, you can always check the card and see what happened. Here in the app, you might forget, and it may be important for you. So yes, we will talk with the coders. So there is a button in the app that has a list of all events and adventures that happened during the game. For the coders, from the standpoint of the app, it is super simple thing, just to list all the titles or all events that happened. So yes, this function will be once again. I do understand when you play physical components, you can always check the cards. Here at this moment you cannot, but yes, we will add this feature. And Ivan asked me, any plans to have the app be able to take your picture and put it onto the app's events? We were talking about this with coders, and the idea was, yes, that there will be your picture instead of the pre-constructed 4 pictures that we have. And as far as I remember, it was decided that it will be done. And actually, I don't remember the reason why it is not done yet. I assume it will be one of the updates. For the game, because yes, it was super cool that you are playing the game and you see your picture, and from the app standpoint, yes, now I remember there was a case. One of the coders said that if you're playing with a smartphone, it is super easy for you to take a picture, and the app will use your picture. But if you're playing on PC, you will not be able to take a picture. So that was the problem. But for the mobile users, I don't see a problem anyway. So yes, we have to do it. Once again, just a reminder, just put all the suggestions in the thread on BGG, and we are each Tuesday when we meet with my team, we go through the forum and discuss and put this suggestion in timeline in the schedule of work for the coders. So yes. Rob, thank you for kind words. Any plans for the custom or fan-made profile IDs? So I assume that you are talking about this. I don't see a problem that you put the profile cards at BGG, that you put the ID for this, and then that you create couple of events for that. And like I have a perfect combo, like I have profile card invented by you, I have a ID invented by you, and I have like 10 or 20 events invented by you. And as I mentioned in the article this Wednesday, yes, we will use the best content created by the fans. At this moment, right in this moment, if you can go to BGG website, and there's official thread, we call it Living Board Game #1, and I ask you guys to create events, and the contest ends at the end of August, and best 10 events will make it to the game. We will just translate them into final wording, and we'll put them in the app. So I don't see a problem that in September we will do a contest for the profile cards, or in the October we will do a contest for other things. Yes, we want this game to be richer and richer in content, because as I mentioned, one of the biggest advantage of this game is that we are not limited with the card stock. I can put as many cards as I want, and with the fan base we have infinite possibilities to build this game. And I'm pretty sure, I have a strong belief that after a month, after 6 months, after a year, after 2 years, many people who at this point complain that they don't want to play with the app, they don't want to play with the smartphone, that they don't want to play with the computer, will be convinced by you, if you are still posting information on BGG, on forums, on Facebook, that this game grows. There was 500 events and now is 1000 events, that the game has a huge replayability because the community updates the game with the new content. And my role, as I can see, I hope to see in the future, will be just a person who edits these ideas and choose the best fan created content and put it in the app. So I have a strong feeling that we'll design together many cards and profile IDs and other kind of stuff. Are there any Easter eggs? I know there are some Easter eggs, of course, but to be super honest, this project was so big and so huge, and we were so tired that there was less fun part and less Easter eggs than usually. We were super tired with this project. This is a beast, and I hope that you see that. I hope that you will see more after you finish campaigns. You will see the amount of work we put in these 3 years. So there is less funny stuff in this game because we really just wanted to finish this beast and give it to you. So yes, there are some jokes, but not that many as you would expect. But now we have relief. The game is released, and I believe that we will be surprising you again and again. But just spoiler alert, you might find the gold on Mars, if you know what I mean. Oliver asked me which cookies I don't like. I don't recognize any cookies I would not like. I for the past few years visiting different conventions in different countries, I got so many different types of cookies and flavors. All of them were awesome, so sorry. Second Stone asked about the plans of adding illustrations to the app and to the event. So no, this was on purpose decision from the very beginning. And as you remember me speaking about the interviews, we from the very beginning wanted this app to be just supporting app that doesn't distract you, that doesn't make any sounds, animations, all that kind of stuff. It was just very smart deck of cards. And now when the game is released, there's many people complaining and comparing. That Mansion of Manners looks so cool with the animations, and this looks just like a text-based app. From the very beginning, that was our idea. So of course, seeing the feedback, we can give a little bit more of the flavor, some small animations, maybe some sound effects, more sound effects. But basically from the very beginning, and it was my decision, it must be just a deck of cards, a very smart deck of cards, but it doesn't have to distract, it may not distract players from the board. So there may be some cool elements added later on, some animations, maybe some music, but basically no, I want this to be just a deck of cards lying on the table. The very first special event to play First Martians, Ben asked me, will be a early launch kit. So the street date for the game is late September, but early September we have an early launch kit, and all brick and mortar stores in America will have a chance to have the game before the street date. And for that we will release a special scenario that will be available through the app and as a PDF from our website only for 2 weeks. And after these 2 weeks we remove the file and we remove the scenario from the app. So this will be the first special event. You will have, guys, 2 weeks window to play special scenario with your friends, and we will see how it goes. If you will like this idea, if you will see that you are motivated to play the game in this 2 weeks window, if you will like this kind of stuff, I have a huge hopes that we can have a great time together playing the game on particular weekends or weeks. So yes, the first one is early launch kit for First Martian, special dedicated scenario, and then we'll see what happens. Tomasz asked me he says, you have probably seen a lot of criticism behind the rulebook and convoluted gameplay. What is your response? This is a very difficult topic. On one hand, I want to put it very straight and very clear. If this rulebook doesn't help you play the game, it is our failure. And the rulebook should help you super clear. And if it doesn't, this is our failure, and I'm sorry for that. But first of all, on the BGG, I am available all time, over and over again, and I'm answering 90% of these questions that I'm answering are answered in the rulebook. Like, this is really a matter of people reading to rulebook very quick, wanting to play the game and then getting frustrated that this is not a simple game. You have to read this rulebook focused. There were some small mistakes in the rulebook. There were some things like this stupid farm and backup farm and greenhouses that were not clearly explained, and this is our fault and this is my fault, personal fault. But on the other hand, there is many questions that are really super clearly answered in the rulebook, and yet there are questions. So this is one thing. And the other thing, this is big, complicated game. Like, you cannot compare this to the Centuries, Spies of the Road. You cannot compare it to the Settlers of the Catan. You cannot compare it to any other ticket ride game that has 8 pages of the rulebook. This is a beast. This is a game system that offers you guys 16 different mini games. We are talking about the 16 missions. Each of the missions plays differently. I created the game system that you can utilize in 16 different ways. And now, on one hand, some of you are complaining, and I'm sorry that I failed you, but you're complaining that there is so many questions about the scenario, there are so many doubts. But please understand, if the game has only one scenario, it will be super easy to make a rulebook and explain you to that. But we created a game that you can either go hunting a probe, either go building a whole hub, either go and research the bricks and that kind of stuff. And I will not even spoil what will happen in the campaigns, how crazy shit is going over there. So we are talking about the rulebook that has to explain new situations of 16 mini games. So yes, such a rulebook never be enough, and that's why we have a FAQ in every single mission, because it has to be, because this mission plays completely different than this mission, and it is impossible, or at least we cannot, maybe it is possible, but I cannot make a so comprehensive rulebook, so huge rulebook that you will deal with all the things. If you add on top of these 16 unique missions, if you add on top of that 500 unique events and adventures, the number of correlations, number of synergies between basic rule of the game with this special rule of this scenario and special rule of this card and special rule of this character and this special power that character has, this is a beast. This is a great big system. I have a strong feeling that when you understand how it works, you will have a great time. but it is not something that we can publish 8 pages rulebook and you will have a great time. It is 40 pages rulebook, it is 16 unique missions, it is 500 unique events, and yes, there will be confusing moments. There will be some things that you have to double check with the designer or the other players who played it already, because number of synergies between all these moving parts is insane. And there are moments when even I don't actually know how it should work, because this power, with this skill, with this scenario, with these rules, like this, so many moving parts. Is a hard work to understand the system. It is hard work to be fluent with the game, but when you are fluent with the game, you have a 16 unique mini games in this box, and more coming. I have 2 more already, so there will be more and more. So please get familiar with the system, understand how it works, and you will use these systems on many mini games, on many missions that I will provide you for many years. So you read it once, you understand it once, and you will enjoy this for years. Hello, Kuba Jarosz. Oh my god, I was talking too long, and so many questions. Green Jigo. Hi, sorry I missed this. I haven't received my pre-order yet. We sent the last pre-orders on Friday. Everything should be sent, so please wait 2 or 3 days. And if on Wednesday or Thursday you have not game yet at home, please contact us via mail or via phone, and we will track it, because everything was shipped. Jonathan Ho. Perhaps, as I mentioned, these are things that coders will do. I will talk with them on Tuesday. But yes, there was a decision that we want players' faces in the app because it is cool. So yes, it will happen. Tony, hello Tony. Official ruling for the greenhouses in the first scenario. As for today, it is as many greenhouses as players. But it may change. You always check the setup. It is crucial for you. What's in the app is official, and once a week, if you can update the app, it is always a good idea. Last week, once again, we updated few setups to make it more challenging, to be honest. I'm sorry to say that, but we saw feedback on BGG that you are finishing these scenarios like crazy, and the game is too simple. So we made a small tweaks in few scenarios. I'm sorry to say that. And so yes, always check the actual setup, and don't believe what's written on BGG. Don't believe what Rodney said 2 months ago, because the app is always updated with the status of the situation I want at this very point. Because I'm reading the tweets, I'm reading the Instagram posts, I'm checking all the time if you're finishing the game or not, if the game is too difficult or not, and I can adjust the difficulty level once again. So I truly believe we are talking about the living board game that is super new, revolutionary thing in the analog games. I can adjust the experience, so it is good for you. So at this moment, as many greenhouses, as many players, but it may change someday. Robert asked me, when the malfunction card asks you to discard 2 energy spare parts. Yes, you have to discard them from the cargo bay, obviously. Yes, you don't have to destroy anything in the habitat. We are talking about the 3 spars you have in the cargo bay. If you don't have them, and if nothing happens. In this game, there is not such a rule like in Robinson Crusoe. Unfulfilled demand not exists in First Nations, don't worry. And thank my playtesters who are lousy. Ivan asked me off topic, how many languages do I speak? I speak Polish, I speak so English, I do understand so German, and I was I had Russian when I was in school, but I don't speak Russian. It was many years ago. Back to Kuba. Kuba asked me why on one side of the card there is an ID and the other an R. I have no idea. In my copy there is ID and ID on both sides, so I assume that you are talking about the Polish version. I have no idea. This is some small detail from the artwork department. I don't know why they did it. Oliver asked me. Yeah, Oliver, thank you. Oliver confirms what I said, that we wanted this app to be no distraction. You are rolling dice, you are putting action points, you are thinking, you are looking at the scenario sheet, what to do, and just once a while the app will just throw at you a cool event, and is all we need this app to do. I don't want any animations, any of the kinds of stuff. It's just the intelligent deck of cards. Sue Park asked me, what games do you like to play with your wife? I like to play with her war games, GMT games, that kind of stuff. I do like to play with her card games like Imperial Settlers, 51st State, this type of games, Race for the Galaxy, Alien Artifacts lately. So the card games, the war games. And yesterday we played Godfather. I strongly recommend, a very good game. I was really pissed off. But we will have a rematch after this live stream, so I will play Godfather today again. Ivan, thank you for the kind words. I'm afraid about the complexity I see on the threads at BGG, that there are many people who say very kind words about the game. Thank you for that. All the people who say nice things, I appreciate your comments. But I also see people who are confused, who see that this beat is too complicated, and they basically hated the game because there's so many moving parts, so many confusion, and it's not good game for them. So maybe I went too far. We will see. The key story will tell us. It's still super early to say more about the feedback of the game. I'm still waiting for your feedback after you play campaign, because it will also be very important. As I mentioned when I was at the Dice Tower Con, my biggest fear for the campaign is that you will be playing campaign, and you have to understand each campaign has a new mission, and each of these missions has a new rules. So after finishing the first mission in the campaign, you want to play the second mission, and you have to learn the new rules. And you finish the second mission, and you have to, if you want to play the third one, once again you have to adjust the new rules. So once again, I put a huge problem for you, a huge task to adjust to every single mission in the campaign. It is a huge problem. On the other hand, I hope I do offer you a great experience, and these scenarios in the campaigns are different, and the story develops, and I hope that you will get attached to the habitat, the characters. So we will see. Once again, I'm still reading the comments very carefully. I think maybe the game is a little bit too complicated. We will see in the long run. But we will see more if you finish the campaign. If this campaign was too confusing or it was not too confusing, because if you manage to finish the campaign, if you manage to enjoy the campaign, if you will enjoy these scenarios, I do believe you will have a great time with this campaign. So the big questions remains if you will finish the campaigns or not. Linus asked me if we did a blind playtesting for the game. I do playtesting in the office with my playtesters. We did many playtests with the new players, so we either ask them to read the rulebook and play the game by themselves, or I just explain them the game and they play. There were different tests, but we don't send out the prototypes. We don't do such a test. But we had a lot of tests when Peter Wiśniewski, he was the guy who wrote the rulebook, was sitting with the players. We even had this cooperation with the Polish college near our city, and in this college there is a class of game design for the video gamers, and we had a cooperation with this class, and we had the events for the students. They had to read the rulebook, they had to set up the game, they had to play the game, and Peter was a teacher at these classes, but he was supposed to not talk. He was not able to talk, and he was just checking what was confusing for the players and making notes. So yes, we made lots of different blind play testing, but not by sending out prototypes, but having players and watching them, how they play and what's confusing for them. Lines, it may be the case. We really did a blind plane testing, but you have to understand this is a big beast. Most of the problems was with the stupid greenhouses, And as far as remember, most of the playtesting we did with the most difficult scenario. That was the plant scenario, the green one. Because we thought that this is the most difficult scenario with all these percentages you have to calculate with the samples that actually are objectives. Like that was the most confusing scenario. So we are doing this blind playtesting with this scenario mostly, and maybe it was our fault that we didn't do enough playtesting with the first scenario, and the backup farm and the greenhouses were confusing for you. Well, it happened, lesson learned, and we just have to move on and provide you the best FAQ possible. Ben asked me if I'm ready to Gen Con. Yes, I already hate my travels, and I already feel a fear about the airplanes, and Mary already is talking about the flight, and I'm already terrified. Yes, I'm starting to think about Gen Con, yes. Tony asked us, when an event or malfunction card says -202, is that from the production track or is that from the supply track? I assume it is from the supply track, because if production, the event or the card will say production -2. So if it says just oxygen -2, it means supply. And when you play the game and you see such an event that says -2 oxygen from the supply, you say, well, whatever, not a big deal. You have to keep in mind that we have so many events in the game. Some of them are super kick ass in the campaign, because if you play campaign mode and if you have 20 oxygen for 5 missions, and if you lose 2 or 3 in one mission just like that, it's like a crucial problem for you later on in the campaign. So sometimes you see the event and you see, wow, this is not that difficult. But try to imagine how this event would work if it happens in the campaign, and then you will understand that, wow, in the campaign that would suck. Eric writes and asks me to not mess with the setup of the games and make it harder. Just a small tweaks, don't worry. Imre, hello Imre. In First Martians, there is not rule that says unfulfilled demand. So if the app, if any event or anything tells you, please discard morale tokens, please discard spare parts, please discard food, and if you don't have it, nothing happens. In Robinson, you are punched. Here, nothing happens. Don't worry. The only moment when you get punched for not discarding stuff is a morale phase. In a morale phase, if the morale says morale is bad, discard morale tokens. In the morale phase, you get punched. Otherwise, from other events and things, if you have to discard anything you don't have, nothing happens. Don't worry. I know it's lame. It's like my playtesters. The second stone asks valid questions. Let me write it. Will the setup for green scenario be transferred to the app? So he's talking about all these, that you have to draw the cards and check the percentage, etc. We had a very big discussions, almost argument in the office, because a couple of my employees said it is stupid. And especially in the landing scenario, actually, that you have to spend like stupid 5 minutes shuffling the cards and making a setup instead of having it given to you by the app in the setup phase. I went for my solution, that is, you spend this stupid 3 minutes shuffling the cards and checking and writing it down, because I wanted you to feel that it is actually a really random setup that just happened today. I was afraid that if the app would tell you on the go that your percentages are like this, you would think that it is pre-constructed, that this is fake, this is cheating, that the app was just giving to you without the actual random checks. So we went for the super random, just do it by yourself and you will trust yourself. my employees says that it should be available in the app as an option, and I think that it will be at some point in the app, but we have this, you know, first the app has to work, and then we can add more and more cool features. So at some point, all these random things that you have to do in the app, like drawing these cards to establish something, will be available from the app level, because some people complain on that, and I do understand. But my first decision was I want players to have this randomness in their hand. That was a decision. Hello, Peter. So Ben asked about the updated rulebook in the app and searchable. This is exactly on one of the highest things to do in the list for the coders, and it will be one of the updates in August probably. We are talking about the FAQ in the app that is searchable. So you actually going into the app, going to the FAQ, and you can type I don't know, spare parts or energy or farm, and it shows you all the things dedicated to this. So yes, we want the FAQ, we want the rulebook in the app working as Wikipedia, like hyperlinks that you can go through the things and ask another question until you find the right answer. So yes, this rulebook and this FAQ will be super modern. But guys, this is a huge task to do, and the coders have things scheduled. So yes, at some point it will be here, and this is one of the things on the highest priority, because we want to give you as smooth as possible way to search the answers for your questions. Hello, David. Thank you for kind words. I wish you luck finishing the game today. Peter, I hope that you will not lose campaign. He asked if he will lose campaign, how many times he will lose before he will finish. We try to make the campaign so difficult. It is difficult, but it's really possible to finish. And between the missions, you always get some awards. So even if you get kicked during the first mission or during the second mission of the campaign, between the missions you will get some awards to get you once again to the not the basic level, but to help you a little bit. So I hope that you will finish the campaign without having to restart the whole thing. So yeah, I wish you luck. Ivan asked me about my vacation. My vacation will be probably after the Essen. It is always like that. But basically because of the first Martians and because of alien artifacts, and these two big games that we are releasing and I was developing, and because these new scenarios for the first Martians, I don't see my vacations too well this year. Like I have to finish the Imperial Settlers expansion, I have to develop 51st State expansion, I have to start working on the Robinson Crusoe expansion, not to mention that I have new games to develop, so I don't see many vacation days this year, but I'm in a good shape, so worries not. Don, Gen Con event will be awesome. Actually, yesterday I had a couple of new ideas for that. We will have in the room, as far as I know, 160 people, and it's gonna be fun. I am super excited. I hope you guys enjoy it a lot. David asked a rule question. In the guessing game scenario, you can research to put 2 white cubes on the objective. But there are already 2 white cubes on each of them, so it doesn't make sense. David, it makes sense because in each production phase, you will lose one of these white cubes. So after the first round, you have less white cubes. After second round, you have less white cubes. After the third round, you have less white cubes. At that time point, you will have no white cubes. And if you don't have a white cube, you get the minus worker penalty to discover this thing. So you definitely want to have more cubes because you are losing them every single round. Look very carefully on the mission sheet in the production phase, how it changes and how it differs from the standard game, and you will see you are losing white cubes every single round. Any plans to have more designers variant? I will see at this point. I'm focusing on the new scenario. So for these scenarios that are already released, no such plans. I'm working on the new scenarios. This is a designer variant of the game. New scenarios. At which point does the greenhouse door bust open? I don't understand this question. It's in English and I don't understand it. Imre asked why the first Martian rulebook doesn't have the same structure as Robinson Crusoe. I do believe it at the beginning it was a quite similar structure. I was discussing this with Peter Wiśniewski, who was a writer for the rulebook, and we very clearly says that we have a fan base, we have people who played Robinson Crusoe for many years, and keeping the same structure of the rulebook will be a very good idea. If it changed during the work, it is probably because of the needs. I don't know details because I was not writing the rulebook, so I will not say anything smart. But I do agree that the closer to the Robinson Crusoe rulebook, the better. I do agree. But as I mentioned once again, the big problem that you are facing and everybody will face is the fact that every single scenario has a slightly different rules, and that's the problem. Beauty of the game and the curse of the game at the same point. Stefan asked very interesting questions. Are there longer scenarios planned at some point? And he says, I had the impression that the game is a lot faster than Robinson Crusoe. That is exactly the case, that the game is much faster. I remember it was like almost 2 years ago. I sat in the pub with Eric Lang and I asked him about his expectation for the first Martian, because I was curious how he sees the game, even though I am still designing the game. And he asked me to make he sees three things he expects from the game. One of these was that he wants it to be close to Robinson Crusoe, but different enough that he will have at home Robinson Crusoe and First Martians. And I do believe the game is different enough that I can see, guys, that you have these two boxes and play with different groups both these games. The other one was that the app is not distracting from the game and it is only supporting the game. And I do believe it was the same idea for me. So of course I do believe we have this. And his third complaint on Robinson Crusoe was he wanted to be faster than Robinson Crusoe. That was exactly the same case for me. And yes, First Martian is really fast. It is really hard to believe, people who haven't played the game yet, that you can actually play a whole scenario in an hour or under the 90 minutes. It's very efficient. There's 6-7 rounds and you are done. A lot of things happen, but in a very short period of time. And at this point, I'm not designing a longer scenario. Like, I like this punked action that you know that you have 6 or 7 rounds and shit will happen and you have to be super focused and go. So at this point, any of the scenarios in the campaigns and any of these 2 new scenarios that I'm designing has more than 7 rounds. These are very efficient, very short scenarios, and I like it as it is. But as I mentioned in the article on Wednesday, the game will be developed by the players, and I do see people designing their own scenarios, and we will use them in the app, the best of them. And I do believe that players will come up with other scenarios, other ideas, other approach to the game, so everything can happen. But at this point, there is no single scenario that has more than 7 rounds. Peter asked me if the first campaign can be played a few times, even if you finish the game, the campaign. So yes, you can play it, but I think that you will not want to play it because the beauty of the campaign, in my opinion, of course, is to be surprised with the events, the things that will happen, with the story that will develop. And when you finish it, you will just sit and say, wow, hopefully, that was awesome. And you feel like fulfilled and you don't want to play it again. Like you have these memories, you have this experience, and you're done with that, and it is not fun to repeat this because the magic is already gone. Yes, you discover the story. So technically, in the terms of the rules, in the terms of the components, in the terms of the gameplay, you can play this first campaign a couple of times, but in the terms of emotions and experience, I can see you finishing the first campaign saying, wow, that was cool, and going for the second campaign and then spamming me that you want me to design a third campaign and fourth campaign because you like the experience. The emotional involvement into the campaign, I hope it will be huge, and therefore after you finish, you have this catharsis moment, you say, wow, that was cool, and you're done with this campaign. This is my thinking about this. Stefan asked me if there will be pre-orders for the alien artifacts for the Essen. Yes, we will have pre-orders for the alien artifacts for the Essen and also for the shipping worldwide. And yes, we will have special stretch goals as usually for our games if you pre-order from our website. I hope that many of you are satisfied with how the first Martians pre-order turned out. I know there was a lot of criticism during the pre-order campaign for the first Martian, and people were making laugh of you. It was very not nice of them that you are pre-ordering the game from me instead of buying it at the cool stuff. I hope that you now think that you'd make a right decision and you have the game, the better components, you have the game 8 weeks before the street date, and you can play the game today. And everybody who ordered it cheaper on online stores have to wait another 2 months. I do believe that we delivered what we promised, that you will have exclusivity and you will have a better components. And yes, we will do the same with the alien artifacts. So once again, we'll run pre-orders on our website. Once again, we'll provide you better components. And once again, we'll provide you some time before the release. I think we do our best to treat you super exclusive. And I think it works for both of us. Oliver, you're right. Ivan asked rule question. We can use the food from the general supply if our greenhouses don't produce enough food, correct? Correct, exactly. Food in a general supply is for all the purposes when you have to eat and you don't produce enough of the food. So yes, exactly, use it. Once again, in the single scenarios, you almost always have enough food. In the campaign, it is a struggle. And just a tip, because you're watching the live stream, just a tip. In the first mission of the first campaign, please focus on the greenhouses. Like, don't spoil us. I don't want to spoil too much, but think about the food in the long run. This is the 5 missions you have to survive. Stefan asked if there is any order of resolving malfunction blocks. If you are told to resolve all of them, it's your choice. Like, not many, I think there's 2 or 3 cards in all of these decks that actually influence other block, but basically it's your decision. If the game asks you to do all of them, you do in the order you want. Guys, there's 5 last minutes as far as I can see in my timeline. So 5 minutes for the last questions. Any physical promos in the works for the first Martians? Asked Benjamin. Yes, we have a couple of ideas, and yes, some of them are already in production, I would say. So yes, there will be promos for the game in a physical version. but mostly, of course, there'll be updates for the app, and for that we will update the app on many occasions to give you more content. But yes, we will have a couple of items also in a physical version. I think I answered all the questions. Expansion in 2018? No, sir. No. In 2018, let's keep our fingers crossed that I'm going back to Robinson Crusoe and going back to the designing a campaign for the Robinson Crusoe. And for the 2018, I don't want to have anything to do with the first Martians. Of course, it's a lie. Of course, I will provide you new missions. Of course, I will provide you new events. I hope that you will provide me new events and new adventures. But for now, I do wish you a great time with the campaigns. Once again, you guys have my personal email. You get it in the letter. So if you have any problems with the campaign, just let me know and I will help you. I wish you a great time. Thank you for playing the game. Thank you for ordering the game. Thank you for all the kind words. And if anybody's disappointed with the game, I'm sorry. I did my best, but I do understand that the game cannot make everybody happy. So there will be some people who are disappointed. It's sad, but I do understand that I cannot make everybody happy. Tomasz asked me when the game will be fully released. September is the street date. So you guys have still more than 6 weeks of exclusivity of playing the game before everybody else. Simon is from Australia. This is amazing. Simon, greetings from Poland. Global Village. I wrote an article about this many years ago when one of my first games actually got worldwide. Like, I really was very successful and my game was sold in Brazil and Australia and Japan. And this is insane and it is amazing that people worldwide are playing my game. I cannot stress enough how cool is that, and if I can think that there are people in different places of the planet playing my game, this is super fulfilling. Thank you for playing the game. I'm not going to play Teach with Mary. Never, ever, never. My plan for today: proofreading cards for Alien Artifacts because it goes to the print this week, and playing Godfather. This is my plan for today. And I'm going to play Godfather in 2 minutes, and then I will go to proofread cards in the evening. And so we have not many mistakes on the cards. I will do my best to prepare for you guys the best cards. We had a whole team of proofreaders for the Alien Artifacts. They found a lot of mistakes already. I'm doing the last proofread, and next week it goes to the print. I strongly recommend Alien Artifacts. It's a super fast card game if you like 51st State, if you like Imperial Settlers. This that kind of the game. Ontario, Canada. That's cool as well. Cheers. Guys, once again, thank you for watching. Once again, you have my email if you have any questions. If you have things to debate, I'm available at BGG website. I'm there all day and all night almost answering questions. Once again, thank you for everything. Thank you for playing the game. I wish you a great time. And once again, I'm sorry for all failures I did in the game. But once again, this is a big system, 16 different missions. There must be some confusion, there must be some fidelity. Just learn the system, do your best, and you will have a great time together for years, because I'm going to support this game for years. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye, guys.